and rose up against Abel and killed his brother, and killed him. Then the Lord said, "Where is Abel, your brother?" He said, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" And then Cain first at that point. So look, we're carrying out. Abel was a keeper of sheep. Cain was a tiller of the ground. Hey, there's a change I need to make. This was unacceptable. What he chose to do was to blame somebody else, right? That same concept. Rather than take responsibility and try to make it right, like mankind has done continually throughout. He just thought he'd sit around and pout about it. He'd get angry. He'd start blaming other people. His countenance fell. His demeanor, his expression, his way of being. And so the Lord said, "Why are you angry?" So he's pointing out, again, he's not trying to investigate this. He's provoking some thought in Cain. Why are you angry? Why is your countenance fallen? Right? Same thing that we try to do with our children when they're pouty. Stop pouting. Why are you pouting? And then, well, something happened. Well, pouting about it now doesn't change that, right? And we try to teach this principle over and over and over. We all do when we try to teach other people. If you do good, you don't even have to get to that point. You don't need to be angry. You don't need to be pouty. Your countenance doesn't need to fall, right? You just do well. Learn from this and do better on the next time. And then look at what he says here in verse 7. If you do not do well, sin lies at the door. Its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. So clearly, Cain has an option, right? As we all do. Sin is not a given. Sin is not a given, right? It's not an imperative. It's something that we succumb to. And it's something that we can, as we continue to look at, have the ability to overcome, and how we're going to do that. And we'll study it again here. And then for context, we have an earlier passage here to help clarify this. If we back up here in verse 9, whoever has been born of God does not sin, for his seed remains in him, and he cannot sin because he has been born of him. Let's look real quick so that we can get a fuller understanding of this. Go back a chapter or two. Let's go to 1 John 1, verses 7 through 9. So in 1 John 3, it's talking about perpetual sin. We are continually giving in to these sins over and over and over and over, and we're refusing to allow the Word to help us make our decisions. Then we have no right saying we're the children of God. We're the children of the devil. All right, let's move on. Does anybody have any thoughts, comments, anything else we'd like to cover? I know we're dealing with some big stuff pretty quickly. Okay, let's go to Job. All of them. But in verse 1 of chapter 1 of the book of Job, there was a man in the land of Uz. These are not small numbers, and he has been very well blessed. In verse 7, and the Lord said to Satan, "From where do you come?" So Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going back to and fro on the earth and walking back and forth on it." And then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none other like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man who fears God and shall surely curse you to your face?" So we're seeing a back and forth a little bit between, "Fell from heaven, burned up your sheep, and the servant consumed them, the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." In all this, Job did not sin or charge God with wrong. So we see here, this is a passage that we